At each school board meeting, staff members make presentations that highlight academic programs in the York County School Division. In October 2011, York River Academy staff and students spoke to the board about workplace readiness.
Yes, we're very pleased this evening to have a presentation relating to the York River Academy. And the mission statement of the school division refers to preparing students to contribute to the global community. Well, what you're going to hear about this evening is an example of students through their work contributing to the community now. And so we're pleased to learn more about that and like to ask Walter Cross, principal, to introduce folks. We're going to be hearing this evening from a teacher as well as several students.
Thank you. Mr. Medford, Dr. George, board members, Dr. Williams, cabinet members, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to share with you a little bit of what we're doing at York River Academy to support the strategic plans of the school board and also to work toward workplace readiness. One of the things we're trying to do is to make sure that our students, as they're working through York River Academy and our curriculum there, are being prepared with the skills necessary to be successful when they go out, whatever they choose to do after York River Academy might be there. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We'd love to show you bells and whistles and see the kind of neat things that we do. We're going to pull back the cover just a little bit and look at the process for developing a website. It's something that we do from the inception. Someone approaches us about building a website all the way to the launch. We thought we'd show you how we're integrating some of those workplace readiness skills and those skills that our students need to be successful into that process as we build a website. So to do that, Mr. Sam Carpenter, who is instrumental in our website, he's been doing it since the school started as our web design teacher and kind of the mentor for the students coming up. I'm going to introduce Sam, and then he's going to present that with some students with you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Cross, and thank you, board, for having us up here, and all of our other YRA friends that have come to be with us. This is Eric Diggs and Ben Brome. They're going to help me out with this presentation. One of our other students, Charlie Jackson, couldn't make it tonight, so we're juggling some things around. So we hope the presentation goes smoothly. I'd like to start with the first slide. We started back in 2005 looking how to make a business. So in 2005, we went out onto the internet and found a company that would make us a nonprofit organization, and we called ourselves Schoolhouse Designs, Incorporated. And yeah. And that's the first slide I'm going to start out with. Thank you very much, Betsy.
You're welcome.
All right, Schoolhouse Designs. We started out in, like I said, spring of 2005. When we did that, well, we want to know how to advertise that. So the first thing our students started on was a website that our 2005 class did, and at that time, those students were 9th and 10th graders, and they came up with this design and this logo and all the things that we could do, and the logos at the bottom that we could make, things like that. We did this so that we could build sites for other businesses around the local area, but we found ourselves actually making one website for a company in Florida, one for a company over in Gloucester, and there were lots of advantages to using us as a place to make web designs because we're low cost. We did it for a donation, and the donation we told the company would be tax deductible. It really helps educate students, give them some real world experiences that they might not get other places. So they actually got to use the latest software that y'all provided us in order to build their resumes to let people know that they could go out there and they could actually do the work that mostly you'd learn in college and things like that. So with that, I want to turn this over to Eric.
Hello. The YRA process of development, we usually will start with initial survey questions. We will bring together questions out of this list that will best suit the website that we are creating to get the most information that we can receive from the person at the time to make the best website. Then we have a client a meeting agenda. We will use this to set a client meeting where we can make it run smoothly and not have like glitches, where we can just ask what we need so she can or he can get on with their life so we can create their website. The client student meetings, we have a video, but it's not the best quality, so I'm not going to show it. But we practice the interview, and we practice our handshakes or setting a tone for the room, or question asking, so we can make sure we get the question across how we are asking it. The rubric, we use we use the rubric to create. Every student is going to create a website using this rubric, and then Mr. Carpenter will choose one of the websites that all the students have created to have the best one that suits this rubric. And the storyboard, Ben will tell you in a little bit, but the field trip to the business is probably, to me, probably be the funnest part of the whole experience, is that because you actually get to go to the location and see how they run to get a better feel, and you can also take pictures. We have created a website for Snow Zone, where you can see we have taken pictures of the business. We also have pictures of students in the business. And I'm going to go over to Ben for the storyboard.
When we're developing the storyboard, generally we take a large sheet of paper and sketch out how many pages we want, the location for everything on each specific page, the navigation bar, the logos, the text for each page, and then we come up with the colors that we normally talk about with the customer of how they want it and how organized it should be. And as we progress further on into the process, we edit stuff and correct as it continues.
I'm going to talk about the next slide, because the next slide, we use the internet. Let's go back one slide. And you want to talk about this? I knew that.
Okay, the students begin to produce their own version of each banner, logo, or navigation bar, so they can all have their own design of how they would like it to look. But it's definitely up to the person that's going to receive the website of which one they like the best. So we'll let them see a list of each banner, logo, navigation bar, and layouts to see which one they like the best, and then we'll start creating the website more based on what they selected. It will also create extras like flash animation and different slideshows.
Thank you. Something that's really important with every website is our colors, and every person, every website business owner, they have their certain colors that they like. So we take the basic colors that they choose, which might be like these four first large colors that you see on the screen, and then we use the internet to go over and find other colors that match these colors, and then sort of like make a palette so that we're always using colors that match for the eye on the website. So it's actually a little scientific on going through the internet, several different sites that do that for us, and we come up with this color palette and say, well, if we're going to use the light yellow, then we're probably going to use a dark tan for the text and things like that.
These are some logos that some students have created for the Schoolhouse Designs website. This is just simple logos, shows how we can create logos for their client's website that suits how they would like it to look. They can give us pictures that we can incorporate into the logo too. This is an example of the logo, how it went to different steps. First, the students created a simple circle with the panda or some type of bear in it, and then the person or the client did not like it so much, so we put a dog with a Slurpee in there. They didn't like that so much, so we even progressed even more to put flowers around it with the dog. And we got even more with eventually you can see how we changed the shack up, and it looks way more professional. The same thing with the banner. You can see how we progressed through different stages to have the final product of what the client would prefer.
And Ben, take over from here.
Later on in the progression of our websites, we generally come up with slogans that best fit what their product is or how they want to proceed their store. And so for our schoolhouse design website, we've come out with the Pencil Point and Perfection slogan, and it can vary from many things for different websites. In editing websites, you need a navigation bar to go from each of your different pages. And so there are multiple types. You got the image with the hot bars, you got the flash navigation bars, or the rollover image navigation bars. And we generally look at the website to incorporate each navigation bar and which one best suits the current look and feel of the website. Mr. Carpenter.
Okay, thank you. For final editing, we burn this onto a website, pass this out to almost every student in the school to look for errors, links that don't work, pictures that don't work, things like that. So students get to check it and use and recheck it. And then I pass out what we call a usability test, which is actually a piece of paper that has students in my Web 1 and Web 2 class go through and check each item to make sure each item works on the test. They present this to the officers of that company, to the nonprofit, and make any changes if necessary. And if those changes taking time, we get right to it. If they don't need any more changes, we burn those right to a disk and present it to the client so the client can load it onto their servers. These are some of the pages that we've done in the past. We've probably done at least 16, and these are probably some of the better ones. This is a neat looking one that's just an entrance page, and you enter it through that page, and then it starts telling about the actual site. This is one I wanted to sort of leave you with, because this is one that the Virginia Peninsula Regional Jail had us do. But on here, we had drop-down menus that they wanted, so we were able to do drop-down menus. We were able to set them up a nice looking calendar, things like that, and so on. So there you go. But anyway, thank you so much for everything.
Students, may I ask a question?
Sure.
I thought it was interesting to see the multiple efforts to design a logo that the client would like. I'm curious what you all think. How do you think that your peers, how did they react when the client would said, "Hey, decent, but go back to the drawing board. I want something a little different"? How was that for students?
Actually, two different reactions. First reaction is the client doesn't know what they're talking about. Because those colors just don't match, and you really don't want those on there, honest. You really you just don't want them. But eventually you really go with what they want, because that's what they would be paying for if they were really actually paying for something. And we've been blessed that one of our clients that we built a website for 5 years ago in 2005 or 2006. Marketplace Antiques over in Gloucester has come back to us last year and had us create a second website for them. So they were pleased with their first go at it, and as websites go, they sort of grow out of time and out of touch. So we got to go over there a second time. They said, we liked you so much the first time, we're going to have you do it the second time. So it's really good to have repeat business.
And I was asking just because I was curious. I know sometimes if a teacher says, hey, this is not what I'm looking for, you need to go back to the drawing table and come back. That's one reaction, but I would imagine as tough as it is, that at least it's a better reaction when you've got a client because who's saying no, good start, but I want
Well,
you to
we
do
don't
some
tell
more
the
work.
client that no, you're not. You don't know what you're talking about. Let me put it that way. But we do go back and give the client a lot of choices too.
Yep.
But it's amazing how many. To come up with the two logos for the schoolhouse design that we came up with, I mean, we must have made probably 60 or 70 different types of logos. And out of those, we just kept on narrowing them down until we picked the two that our client at that time was Mr. Cryer, the principal, that he wanted. So we did it for those for him. And it works for every client, it really does. When you saw the Snow Zone, it's the Snow Zone site. They were really involved in coming down to our school and meeting with our students quite often, and they were quite particular on that artwork that they wanted on that first page and how it was going to show up until they got the shack, the Hawaiian shack that they wanted with the Hawaiian luau that they wanted without their dog in it.
Thank you.